Why do good people become bad? What if I told you that no one is born a villain? It's not sudden. It's not obvious. It's a slow, insidious process that can corrupt even the purest hearts. And here's the chilling truth. The line between good and bad runs through us all. In this video, we'll uncover the psychological, societal, and philosophical forces that drive good people to darkness and why it could happen to anyone. Stay with me, because by the end, you might start questioning your own moral compass. No one is born bad. Psychologists argue that most people begin their lives with the capacity for empathy, love, and connection. So how does someone turn bad? It starts with the smallest crack in their worldview, an event or series of events that plant seeds of doubt, resentment, or anger. Trust is fragile. When it's broken, the pain can fester, like a wound left untreated. Betrayal by friends, family, or society creates deep emotional scars. When someone who values goodness is betrayed, they often spiral into disillusionment. Their trust in humanity erodes. They begin to see vulnerability as a weakness and kindness as a liability. Think of a teacher who devotes their life to students, only to be mocked or undervalued, or a politician who enters the system with noble intentions, only to be deceived by the very people they trusted. Over time, their bitterness consumes them, replacing their good intentions with cynicism. In The 48 Laws of Power, Robert Greene warns us, play on people's need to believe to create a cult-like following. Good people fall prey to this manipulation when they realize their beliefs have been exploited. Betrayal becomes the match that lights their fire of resentment. The more power someone has, the more they are exposed to moral dilemmas. Good people are often thrust into leadership roles because of their virtues, but those same virtues can become their undoing. Power doesn't corrupt immediately. It seduces. It starts small, bending rules, making compromises for the greater good. Over time, these compromises pile up until their values are unrecognizable. Consider Oskar Schindler, a businessman who initially exploited war for profit, but later transformed into a hero who saved lives. Schindler represents the exception, but most people succumb to the seductive pull of power. For every Schindler, there's a Macbeth, a good man who fell into ambition's trap. Greene's Law number 15, crush your enemy completely, reveals why power corrupts good people. To maintain control, they often feel compelled to destroy their enemies, even if it means abandoning their moral compass. As power grows, so does isolation. Good leaders often find themselves surrounded by flatterers, manipulators, and sycophants. They lose touch with reality and begin to view themselves as above the rules. Think of historical figures like Napoleon or even modern CEOs. They begin as visionaries, but slowly retreat into their own echo chambers, where dissent is silenced and paranoia grows. Law number 18 warns against building fortresses to protect oneself. But when good people feel the world turning against them, they isolate themselves, emotionally and physically. This isolation breeds fear, paranoia, and a warped perception of the world. The justification of small wrongs. No one wakes up and says, "I will be evil today." The fall begins with small, justified compromises, cutting corners, bending rules, or overlooking harm. Over time, these small wrongs snowball into something much darker. Cognitive dissonance plays a key role here. To avoid guilt, people rationalize their actions. I did it for my family. I had no choice. These justifications slowly chip away at their morals until their goodness is unrecognizable. Look at Walter White from Breaking Bad, a mild-mannered teacher who just wanted to support his family. But each small wrong, lying, stealing, killing, eventually transformed him into a ruthless criminal. Green's final law, assume formlessness, is often ignored by those who fall. Instead of adapting, they double down on their actions, rigidly justifying their wrongdoings until they're trapped in their own web of darkness. For good people, ideals are the foundation of their identity. But when the world forces them to compromise those ideals, they begin to crumble. Maximilien Robespierre began the French Revolution as a champion of liberty, but as the revolution spiraled out of control, he became a dictator, sending thousands to the guillotine. His ideals, liberty, equality, fraternity, were consumed by his thirst for control. Nietzsche warned us, he who fights with monsters should see to it that he himself does not become a monster. Good people often become what they once despised because the fight changes them. So why do good people become bad? Is it betrayal, power, isolation, or does every good person carry a shadow, waiting for the right moment to emerge?